showing this beautiful blended winglet. Of course, with the A350 XWB, we wanted to take the next step in materials, the next step in aerodynamics, and the next step in engine technology. When it comes to advanced airframe materials, an A350 is now about 53% composite by weight and 14% titanium, which is a lot more than in previous generations. This, for those who followed the Airbus story, again was a decision we took when we were ready to take it, because our experience and our long experience with composite was that you can't just take big jumps, particularly in your production system. So we decided to produce the A350 using a panelized carbon fiber composite, because these were the design techniques with which we understood composites the best. Altogether, the increased efficiency of the engines from the latest engine generation, represented by the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB, allows a 10% fuel burn saving. When we look at an aircraft that the A350 replaces, typically that older aircraft would be 40 tons heavier at takeoff for a particular flight to carry the same payload. And in the aerodynamics, we worked a lot on the wing twist, which we started understanding with the 330-340, to really set the aircraft in the wing in the jig to be able to have a good drag position in flight. A 9 abreast wide body cross section for a twin, but we retained the 18-inch seats, and you'll see that the A350 customers are all choosing 18-inch seats. The A350 cabin was designed to take the cabin comfort that extra step forward. With the A340, we had the quietest cabin in the sky. In fact, we used to do a TV advert with a guy wearing a loud tie. We had a loud tie as a giveaway, which I almost wore this morning, and so my wife told me I was being ridiculous. But the quietness of the A340 cabin was then surpassed by the A380, and again we have the quietest wide-body twin cabin with the A350 XWB. Moving to the 18-inch seats, we wanted to have a clean cabin with bigger overhead stowage, bigger sensation of space in the aircraft, and a culmination of that design aircraft effort that started in 2006 on that cabin was that it won a Red Dot award for the cabin design earlier this year. Now the A350 at entry into service has an option with which you can fly the aircraft 370 minutes flying time from the nearest alternate, which is something that will allow pretty much unrestricted operations anywhere in the world, including those very long trans-Pacific sectors, which we'll come back to again. It's also become a good neighbour on takeoff and landing with a 21 dB margin to Chapter 4. And of course now our history with Singapore Airlines is renewed once again. This is a photo of MFN 26, which was the first delivery to Singapore earlier this year, and the aircraft we're delivering today will be, I think, the 6th. A photo here of the further development of the A350, the A350 1000. I'm sure there's a photo somewhere, and I don't know if it's been released yet, but it does have some engines on now, since this photograph was taken. But that's something where we're all looking forward to the first flight of the A350 1000 later this quarter. Customer of the A350 Ultra Long Range, which is an A350-900 with fuel volume taken from that of the 1000, with higher gross weights and with some empty weight saving. That will allow the aircraft to come back to New York. So Singapore Airlines passengers and corporate accounts in New York will be happy once again to have direct services. We continue to look at the improvements from the A350 ULR and insert those backwards into the existing A350 program. So as we increase the weights of the aircraft by 2020, we'll be able to extend the range of the 350-900 further and continue to improve its fuel burn. And as well, we have launched a regional version of the aircraft, which is optimized for short, medium haul.
Okay, so the 1000, we do have options under our current agreement to convert some of the A350s 900 with order to 1000. So we'll evaluate those options when the time comes. As you know, we always have ongoing discussion with our aircraft manufacturer partners to look at future requirements. So we have that discussion on an ongoing basis.
Let me add, Jens, that we always knew that the A350 has a great potential, and ever since it went into service and the great feedback we get from the operators, we know that even more, and certainly we are studying all options for the future of the 350 beyond the Dash 1000, the ultra long range we talked about. It's an aircraft with an enormous potential.